Hello. I was planning on not making another video after the video I posted about having to give up pro wrestling for multiple reasons. Number one, last Thursday, February 1st, I was scheduled to have disc replacement surgery in my neck. I can't afford to take any more time off. I have a wonderful wife, and I also have my son that are my main focus, and I have to protect them and provide for them. So I can't afford to take more time off. Also, due to having more time with my son, I don't want to be busy Monday to Friday with work plus weekends because it's been hard to make the money I once did in wrestling. I could get by with wrestling right now, but then when you look at the career and there is no health care or 401k or anything like that, I have to make a smart decision for my family. And it was very tough because wrestling has been one of the most important things in my life and the only job I've ever had. And there's been a couple things that have been weighing ever since I cleared my name after false allegations. As I said, I have the proof for all these things. And I spent a fortune to clear my name. But ever since then, there has been some other things that have hindered my career that I really haven't spoke publicly about. And during the time of me clearing my name and gathering information, a lot of men and women in the wrestling business came forward with issues about somebody I'm going to speak about. I am not going to speak about their issues. It's their story to tell, and I don't want to out anybody because their main concern was due to the power this person wielded in pro wrestling, specifically their company, Impact/TNA. But now I want to speak because for the last 6 months, I've been trying to speak with officials at TNA/Impact, not Scott D'Amore, because of issues that have happened on shows, and I'm going to go into that. But first, I want to be clear about what happened with Impact/TNA and Scott D'Amore. In the summer of 2020, two wrestlers under contract to Impact Wrestling were accused of rape and sexual assault by multiple people. They were fired immediately. The accusation against me that I was told was the issue was a woman said, in 2011, I shared a bed with her. I made an advancement on her. She said no. I stopped, but that was attempted sexual assault. Now, when you say something like attempted sexual assault, people are not going to read the situation, and it's compounded with other people being accused of such heinous acts. At that time, Impact Wrestling announced that they were firing those two and suspending me pending an investigation. That was the call I received, not by Scott D'Amore. Somebody else within the company called me. Their exact words were, there was this accusation made against you. I know that you're probably innocent because you keep proof. I know from my instance that Impact fought hard for me and cleared my name. So bear with us. It might take some time, but we will work for you. I said, okay. I felt relieved because there was 3 witnesses in the hotel room that night in 2011 who all signed affidavits and sent them to me. Also, this person had a history. The accuser. She had accused multiple wrestlers that Scott D'Amore was familiar with. He knew about these accusations because we spoke about them in this phone call. 2 days after Impact Wrestling announced on social media and their website that they would investigate the issues into the false accusation against me, over those 2 days, I had sent them all the proof and affidavits. 2 days after the announcement that they would suspend me and investigate the issue before making any decisions, I was called by Scott D'Amore. Scott D'Amore said specifically, I know you've sent me the evidence. I know that I know about Lane and her accusations against some of the wrestlers that I've helped train, meaning Scott helped train. He had heard the instances with this woman because she was around the Detroit, Windsor area for many years and had caused many issues, making false accusations against people. But TNA Impact then is on a rebuild. And if we clear your name publicly, we will get blowback, and we do not want that right now. So what we're going to do is sit you at home and pay you for the remaining of your contract and take you off TV. I said, Scott, what about the evidence? It doesn't matter about the evidence. It matters about what social media is going to do, and they're going to be mad at us, and we can't handle that right now. I said, well, how can I handle you making it look like I'm guilty when I'm not, and the ramifications it will have on my life and career after my contract runs up in 2 years. He said, that's not my problem. If the world changes, we'll bring you back on TV because you're a valued member and have been a coach/player for us. And the plan was to have you win the belt, and then when we bring in Kenny Omega, you drop it to him. So this was all knowledge that was gave to me. Throughout the time, I kept trying to email Ed and Len Asper to no avail. They said that third-party bookings, as long as they knew where they were and how much we were getting paid, were okay. I sent them a list of those bookings. I did 2 of them. Then they contacted me and said that I am not allowed to take third-party bookings. If I do, they will let me out of my contract. Now, I couldn't afford to be out of that contract because that contract was 6 figures, and indie shows don't pay you 6 figures. I had to cancel bookings and couldn't give a reason because I was still trying to deal with Impact without taking them to court. I was told I would get a call to why that happened. While waiting for that call, I was reached out by another member of Impact Wrestling. He booked me for Pro Wrestling Noah. Then when I contacted Noah weeks later about my flight and the info, how long I'd be there, they told me that Scott D'Amore and Impact Wrestling had canceled me off that show. I contacted Ed again. He said Scott would be in touch, and I never received a phone call from Scott D'Amore. I kept trying to touch base and show them more and more evidence about my innocence, and I was ignored. My contract ran up with Impact Wrestling, now TNA, and I was scheduled to do a seminar for a wrestling school. Impact Wrestling was running the gut check on national TV, and they had somebody call the wrestling school and state to the head trainer that if they do the seminar with me, they would not be able to promote their school on national TV. So that made the school make a choice between having me do a seminar and teach wrestlers or be promoted on national TV. This person was very close to Scott D'Amore. As a matter of fact, Scott D'Amore once told me a story how he played a rib on him saying that he had murdered somebody and needed help covering up the body in the murder. And this person said, I don't really want to break the law, but for you, Scott, I'll do it. He had a gopher and made him call and threaten this school for that. Over the course of the last year and a half, there's been many shows where people have contacted them saying they can't be on a show with me because they're part of Impact Wrestling. And I was going to let it slide, and I tried to touch base with Len and with Ed to no avail. I even tried to contact Scott to no avail. Now, recently, in the last 2 weeks, a person had contacted a company that I'm finishing up with dates for before I retire and said they cannot be on the show if I'm on the show. So as you can see, there's still interference, and one of the reasons why I have to retire from wrestling because Scott D'Amore, and I can't speak if it's Impact and TNA and Ed and Len, have been interfering in my business dealings. Not only that, they had people enter the Royal Rumble with WWE, so they were clearly trying to get a relationship with WWE. They used many AEW talents, clearly having a relationship with them, as well as having a growing relationship with New Japan. So they're really limiting my possibilities to earn a living through the job I've had since I was 19, the only job I've had since then. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not looking for anything other than the truth to get out there because unfortunately, this is the truth. And lastly, I want to state I have no personal issues with any wrestlers who are part of Impact Wrestling, now TNA. I hope that the company continues to grow. I hope that you all continue to get the press and love and support from fans that you all deserve because to me, Impact/TNA has one of the strongest rosters with some of the best wrestlers in the world, and you all deserve to be seen. But at this point in life, I want to be able to have neck surgery and I want to be able to wrestle. So I am moving forward with some things that I did not want to continue legally to try and fix this problem. I have made this publicly because I would love to deal with this behind the scenes, but privately trying to contact people to better this situation, I have been ignored. I have been labeled things that I'm not, even though I have proved these claims were false. But as you can see, if you look at AEW, if you look at WWE, if you look at NXT, these companies all have people who have been publicly accused but never charged and never deemed guilty in a court of law and the company stuck with them, and they are still able to provide for their families and work and make a paycheck through pro wrestling. All I'm asking for is an opportunity to straighten this out and get back to wrestling. Now, I understand not everybody is going to immediately go, oh, wait, he's innocent. Let's jump on the bandwagon. I'm going to have to work for that, but I am not afraid, and I do not complain about hard work. But I will forever, ever be upset, be frustrated, honestly heartbroken when people have been able to make false accusations, and it cost me a fortune to clear my name, and all it would have taken is for Impact Wrestling to use the evidence they had and publicly stated that I have been cleared, that these false accusations were indeed false, and I continue on with my career with them. And then moving forward, had they not tried to interfere with future bookings and future seminars, this could have been said and done. Ed and Len have my contact details. I hope that they will reach out before I have to move forward with any other legal ramifications, because whether it was Scott D'Amore solely acting in his hatred or despise for me for whatever reason, or if it was a company thing, I don't know, because I never got any answers. I hope that it wasn't a company thing, because as I said, I think that the talent there are amazing and they deserve all the praise and all the limelight they can get. I hope this can be dealt with privately after this video. If not, I'm not going to make anything public, but I am going to hopefully fix this situation once and for all. And I can get my neck surgery, and I can return to something that I love, something that I cherish, and hopefully the fans will come with it. If not, I understand, but I will be back after all this is dealt with and I can get neck surgery. I hope that's sooner rather than later, but if it's not, keep enjoying pro wrestling, keep cheering on your favorites, keep buying merchandise. I hope everybody well. Take care.